Once again, the Soul arc is just getting even more hyped, at the same time getting even more despair, but at the same time opening so many roads that you're actually kind of worried that they're once again gonna slow down in pacing before we can get to the main thing. I mean, what this chapter actually promised us is it's going to happen, my friends. It's going to happen. A war is going to happen. And no, in real life, war is nothing to be laughing about. But speaking in One Piece universe, well, technically the Whitebeard War was, well, it was awesome for the viewers, but at the same time it was horrifying in the real world. But speaking in a fandom way, it's going to happen. The Minks, the Samurais, and the Straw Hat Pirates, all versus the Shogun of Wano and Kaido. Oh yeah, it's now official. They are going to make it. When they're gonna do it, that's another history. But we're ahead. I wouldn't really say we're gonna get a part 63 of One Piece, but there's something that just feels like what we're gonna see now. It's the war. I mean, a war against Kaido. That's gonna be the biggest hype and danger and sweatnets of all times. And to the Whitebeard one, everybody know that the battle was coming, but now one wonders how it's going to be. Either way, in this One Piece chapter of 819, it's confirmed that Oden indeed was a member of the Roger's Pirates crew and never ever told his retainers the truth about history because he didn't want to burden them. However, Kaido, for some reason, do not know that. Moreover, that Oden sacrificed himself in order to make them survive, which is for the samurais their greatest shame, but also their greatest opportunity. Because Oden actually wanted to open the borders of Wano Kuri. As you all recall, Wano is a place with a closed door policy. But the Shogun killed the Oden along with Kaido, and he's allied with Kaido. I mean, in a way I find that confusing. Did Shogun ally himself with Kaido because he was cowardly and realized just how powerful Kaido was, so he decided to have a powerful ally so that no one can and open up the country for his pirate crew but not for anyone else? Or was Shogun a guy who never wanted to open the corners of Wano and yet hypocritically broke that in order to allied himself with someone who could keep that from happening? I'd say it's both of them. And they're also planning on killing the Shogun and want to defeat Kaido. The reason why Kinemon and all that traveled there was to find comrades, beginning with So, seeing their old history. And apparently in Wano Kuri they do have a rebellion there, but it's small compared to Kaido's troops, and judging from what we have seen, that's an understatement. So yeah, I guess the theory of how Kaido had been hunting Momonosuke and how he's afraid of flying that Marco the theorist did, all of them seems to be very true now. But along with the Saw, they also asks the Straw Hat Pirates, even though Inuarashi is a little bit worried to challenge Kaido again, seeing how they were destroyed by one patroon, Frankie says they were defeated by the weapon. In a way, that is true. I mean, they couldn't suppress Jack himself, but they did suppress his troops, and they couldn't suppress him. So in a way, that is true. But apparently, the Inuarashi and Nekomamushi and the Mink tribe have a triumph card. Wonder what that is. And so the Kinemon asks both Laudono to please ally themselves with them. If you think about it, they do have the Straw Hat Grand Fleet too. I mean, I really wish they also join. There's no better great incident in the world than joining along with them on the war against Kaido. Come on, it's gonna be such a fest. I think someone will get horny just by thinking it. But of course Luffy says no, and that's not for being a jerkish, even though he is a little bit stupid of that way. It's a bit Luffy may sometimes be childish and insensitive, but when he says no, it's actually for different reasons. Usopp wanted to join them so they can have powerful friends. And Nami wants to join them in order to have negotiations. But no, the reason why Luffy is not saying anything, is saying no, is because he wants Momonosuke, the little brat who has been done nothing but crying since he revealed everything, to tell him to join him, not his adults. Because in a way, since being a child, Luffy has learned that you need that no one is too young to take stand, and even if you're in charge of some people, you have to do it yourself and ask someone for help. I mean, Luffy at first didn't really want to ask anybody for help, but he learned from Vivi that sometimes you need to bow down and to search people. But at the same time, the right one needs to admit his weakness and say, please. That's what Luffy is asking Momonosuke for, in a way. And the strange thing is that Nami is the one who's defending her. Well, technically it's not that surprising. So Momonosuke sums up his courage, remembers his horrifying incidents where Kaido's beast pirates killed also his mother and his father, and even, apparently, Momonosuke even saw Kaido, who thought he was a foolish lord. With tears in his eyes, he begs Luffy to join him, and he wants to avenge his pirates, and he wants to protect his retainers. Knowing he is weak and cannot do that himself, he asks the strong one to help him fight in his place. He's ready to get on his knees, but that's not Luffy. Luffy doesn't need someone to get on his knees to ask for help. He just needs them to tell it straight from his heart, because as friends, he'll gladly help. And so well, Luffy gives out his hands, although technically Momonosuke hugs it, not shakes it, which is Luffy's incidents. Also, on a side note, the cover page, we actually saw history of Frankie. Well, not a history of Frankie. We saw that Cyber Island where he ended up in. Apparently, Frankie has upgraded the animals in that country. Given how the fact he destroyed Vegapunk's treasures, I'd say that's a pretty good way to repay. So, with all that point, and the alliance of the Ninja Pirate and the Ninja Pirate and Mink tribe is now officially allianced. Although technically Law is a little bit manga that he forget about him. But now the Heart Pirates, the Straw Hat Pirates, and the Mink tribe, and the three samurai, well, two samurais, a brat and a ninja is now joined up together, along with perhaps some survivor samurais on Wano Kuri. And now if Luffy just could get Sanji back, along with his Straw Hat Clan fleet, then we're really gonna have some fun. So, but before he can do that, Luffy says them to wait. He's gonna find Sanji. And it's pretty amazing who's saying that Sanji is worth 1,000 people. Which is true. Even though Sanji hasn't get so much justice this time skip, he is still considered the third strongest Straw Hat of them all. And it's pretty funny also how Zoro is the one who says, just so you clef, I'm worth 2,000, got it? He's stammering. As the Mink tribes are happy for everything happening, despair finally hits us again. And who is that? Well, unfortunately, Jack is back! God damn it! And here is where the chapter takes a negative turn, at least in my book. With the return of Jack, now this Soul arc is gonna be longer than I want it to! I want Luffy to get to Sanji, save Sanji, because that is gonna be a long arc too. The arc of Wano Kuri, it's gonna take at least 4 years before we're there. And now with the fact that Jack has arrived back at Soul, well, now we're gonna have a bit of a slow pace for and Luffy kicking Jack's ass, because think about it, Luffy needs to kick Jack's ass. He cannot lose. He shall not lose. But well, Jack was right when he said that Raisu was on that island. But the funny thing is here, well, it's not a funny thing, but for every chapter Jack is in, we see the more and more he's insane. And this chapter is no exception. He practically have tortured his he has tortured his crew member Sheep's head. And apparently, for the only reason is because Raisu isn't there. So, while I think Jack actually knew he was on the island, he must have had strong haki for that. Sorry, but what I'm trying to say is, the way he's saying, I find it hard to believe that you find it so acceptable to return with such an answer. That doesn't scream insanity. This next thing I'm gonna tell you will. So, so Jack decides to finish the job and destroying everything. And how is he gonna destroy? Well, he's gonna kill Sunisha, the giant elephant. Jack, you scum. But I actually believe he can do it. He can kill Sunisha. In fact, well, we're going to get a little bit more history about Sunisha now. As I said, enormous amount of hype of a promising of the next 4 years. But at the same time, the slow pacing is not to my liking. But we'll see what will happen, right? All in all, the return of Jack is not something I wanted. Why? Because, well, I wanted him to settle it in Wano Kuri. But now they have to settle it in So. And Jack's insanity has reached a peak. I mean, come on. I actually believe Jack will die this arc. Why? Because 2 reasons. He's too powerful to live, and if someone says that he's gonna kill them, I don't think Luffy can just simply knock them out and send them to jail. No, this is one guy that can only be stopped by death. We'll see, right, won't we? My question is, though, will they realize that Jack is there until it's too late? All in all, that's this chapter. With the funny cover with Frankie of upgrading the cyborg animals in that cyborg island. Give me your thoughts if you have any. Because for me, as I said, enormous amount of hype, an alliance happening. The war will happen.